Here's to cleanse day 1, bone broth.
Reset. I love the name reset.
Yeah.
Reset, because like when you think about a reset, you can hard reset a computer. Think about how good the computer starts functioning after. Like, think about every time your guys' phones, yours, the kids, and you guys are, this thing's not working right. And it's so simple. It's not working, Sean. It's not working. Fix it, Dad. And then if you were to hard reset, just turn the thing completely off, shut down all programs, turn it back on. Oh my God, things work again.
Works better.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the cleansing component, which is important. And you know, it was actually my father that brought the concept of nutritional cleansing to isogenics, and a lot of people don't know that. And Jim Coover, all the way back in about 2005, Jim Coover from the stage, it was like Caesar's Palace in front of about 3,000-4,000 people, and he acknowledged my dad on the stage and said thank you for bringing the concept to the company. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
And you know, we've always called the process kind of like a spiritual
we think there's more to it than just like losing weight or seeing your results in your body. Like, we are just noticing some tremendous things about this ER shred that is just much more in depth than just the outer physical results. And one of the main things for me is just this this realization of how much control I actually have over my diet, but it also can spill over into other areas of life. I just feel so empowered, and realizing how much discipline and control I do have is just like, wow. Like, it really does affect all areas of your life, and that's one of the things I'm really excited about. That just noticing, and you know, even going over all these different things that we've already been, you know, experiencing. Like, you know, going on. It was kind of like a vacation when we went up to Salt Lake, and we still didn't we went to Lagoon, we did all these, we went to a wedding, and
You're talking about willpower.
Yeah, we still did not veer
indulge
from what we like to,
which isn't like us.
Yeah, like I'd be like,
we've always looked at purists, and we've always
event.
resented and hated purists because we're just like, ew, like they don't live. And then you realize like that's not why they, you know, generally it's because people want to feel a certain way.
Yeah. And
they value feeling a certain way over those foods that are causing them to feel unwell. They value feeling a certain way over those cravings, over those cheat meals, if you will. They value it more so. Like, that's why I gave up beer, is because I just feel so good. And I think every time I've ever drank beer, I feel bloated.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, there's a sign that it's causing inflammation in the body. And you got to learn to we've learned to listen to the body more so.
Right. And like you said, like, think about in the moment, like, do I really want this beer, or do I want to feel good? And for me, what goes on in my mind is I visualize myself breaking out. And it keeps me on it. I'm like, okay, I don't want to break out, so I'm not going to eat that bread or the gluten or the treat, because I'm just like, I kind of like having clear skin, so I choose that over feeling the pleasure for just a couple minutes of eating the food.
I can connect with that on another level, which would be like, I think about my gut, and I want it to feel well, and I want to have good bowel movements. I don't like it when I'm unwell. And unfortunately for me, over the years, it's been very common for me to have a hard time with digestion. And so when I think of like eating certain things, and then I'll say to myself, I feel light, I feel lean, I feel well. Do I really want to eat that, knowing how I'm going to feel for the next day or two? One example was like a friend of mine had a sweetener. It's supposed to be this alternative sweetener, and there were sugar alcohols in it. I do not do well with any sugar alcohols. They kill me. But this particular person said, you know, there's something different about this one. Go ahead and try it. You might notice a difference. And, you know, they didn't make any guarantees, but I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And so I finally, you know, did it, and it puts me out of commission for like a day and a half, 2 days, and it did. I was pretty much out of commission for a day and a half where I just keep having to run to the bathroom, and it's no fun for me. So everybody has different ways of getting feedback from the body. Like if you've ever drank alcohol and you drank too much, the next day the feeling mentally is such a drag, and it's just so unmotivating. And then your whole day is shot because you wanted to work out, but now you don't feel like it. Or you wanted to work out, but now it's like drudgery, and you try to fight through it. And the diet, you start to look at food culprits as the alcohol. You start to look at food culprits as, if I eat that, I'll pay a price. And do I want to pay the price? But I want to get into more so some of the mental elements and the spiritual elements that we've been seeing.
Which we were talking the other night, how it compares to our experience being in religion, because, and I think it can relate to a lot of people, just growing up of this mentality that all of our information should come from other people. Like for us in the church, it was like through prophets and apostles and through our leaders, and that was where we always would try to find our answers about our own personal lives. And now it's kind of interesting how since leaving the religion, we've also realized how we do that very same thing in other areas of our life, which applies to food. Like
we constantly look for other people to dictate to us how we live, what
doctors, we eat. Like we want them to tell us, okay, what should I eat? What should I do? And we're never learning how to, and when it comes to the religion, never learning how to listen to ourselves, our own spiritual intuition, but also now, with the whole physical body, we're learning how to listen to what our physical body is trying to tell us, and we have all the answers. Like we don't need to constantly be searching for our answers through other people. We can listen and take it in, but we still ultimately have to decide.
It's mind-blowing. You've never phrased things that way. In my experience, I've never heard you say that in that way. And it is perfect, because we have to learn to listen to our own intuition spiritually, and also we have to learn to do that around physical things like the body and mental things. And so what you're saying is so good, because now we can ask ourselves, how does that food make me feel? Or how does my heart feel about that? And I got to tell you guys, like, when I've pushed back against that in my life, I think a lot of people don't know how to feel. And that's okay. That's a result of a lifetime of maybe conditioning and indoctrination, or like you said, just parameters, being an environment of structure and being told what to do all the time. And it's like we always say, like, go become self-employed. Someone that's been employed their whole life, tell them to go become self-employed. Not only are they scared out of their minds, they can't do it. Like, from a psychological point of view, it is not possible to go and work on their own. They've been conditioned.
Without a learning curve. Yeah, like they have to learn, how do I set my own schedule? How do I decide what I'm going to do today when nobody's telling me what to do?
Heavy stuff. And that's what you're saying about food, is like, do you have the ability to not necessarily be influenced by, propaganda, political parties, food companies that have an agenda? And do you have the ability to remain independent and say, I'm going to try eating this, and I'm going to see how it makes me feel, and then I'm going to journal it and keep track of it, and I'm going to gain that empowerment. Wow, guys, like when you go down that road, it's pretty powerful. Another thing is inflammation. Inflammation, in my opinion, is probably the greatest culprit known to man in terms of poor quality of health. Inflammation. And the thing about inflammation, it's like they used to say that fibromyalgia didn't exist. Doctors used to say that. That was in my lifetime. Even 20 years ago, a lot of doctors would say, no, there's no such a thing as fibromyalgia, not realizing that, fibrinogen, fibroids, it's all real things, right? And so they finally decided that whoa, this pain is coming from somewhere. We don't know where fibromyalgia is coming from. We don't know what causes it. We don't have a clue, but we'll acknowledge now that it exists because people have pain all over their body, and it's just massive and systemic, and we don't know what to do about it. Okay? Well, inflammation is one of the main culprits in so many of the different health challenges that we're facing. Now, here's a miracle. When you understand what is causing inflammation in your life, that's empowerment. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I don't think that medical doctors are going to be able to help you identify what those culprits are. I don't think they are. You could spend a lot of money, even thousands of dollars, and go to, Oliver's after us. You could spend a lot of money and you could go to functional medicine doctors, all kinds of homeopathic doctors, and try to work through elimination diets and discover what are the food culprits that are hurting you, right? But what happens is most people, they don't have the discipline to do that. They don't have the discipline. But, and it's just not feasible. They can't accomplish it. It's just too restrictive and painful, truthfully. We know because we have some experience with that. But I got to tell you,
texting Oliver just there.
Around what we're doing, Oliver just wants to ride because he can't walk. So, around what we're doing, like if you can find a way to safely support the body nutritionally and satiate the body so that people feel well, it's a miracle if you can get off the culprits. Because here's why. When you get off the culprits, it's the culprit foods that are causing the inflammation in the body, and it's hard to identify what that is, you see, because we can't reverse engineer that. We can't trace that back and say, oh, here it is. When you eat gluten, it does this to the stomach, and then that goes on to the colon, and that goes on to the liver, and oh, here we go. Like, good luck. Good luck. The only way you'll ever know is if you get off gluten and see how you feel compared to eating gluten and see how you feel, okay? But here's one of the magic things that we've found when people get off of all culprits. Just get off all of them, all together. The corn, the soy, the gluten, the artificial, all the sugar, everything. Get off it all. Here's one of the miracles. When you don't have these inflammatory responses systemically firing off in the body, all this, systemic inflammation, and your body, you can actually get a glimpse of what it feels like to be well.
How that can benefit all other areas of your life, because it's not just about looking better.
No.
And in having a better, being able to fit into your clothes better, but it really does affect every area of your life, your relationships, your confidence, your ability to do business better and be smarter, your brain works better. And it's just it really is I think the starting point that we all need to be focusing on our health first and foremost, and then everything else can just kind of come together for us. Yeah. Even spiritually, I think it's hard to feel connected to a greater purpose or anything like that when our physical bodies are not well.
Yes, and I think it's all interconnected, like you said. And if you only knew how I felt in May, June of this very year compared to how I feel now, if you could climb inside my body and inside my brain and my mental state, my emotional state, how I feel, how I wake up and feel, how I feel when I think about work, how I feel when I think about going to exercise, how I feel when I think about stressors and politics. And if you could just get inside me, you would see that it's completely direct opposites. How I felt when I was eating all the culprit things versus how I feel now being off all the culprit things. I've got to tell you, my belief in myself is at an all-time high. My emotions. I'm in tune with my emotions. I have never cried so much in my entire life as what I've been doing lately. I cry all the time. Like Crystal doesn't even see all the times I cry. I cry during the day. I cry if a song makes me think of something. I cry when I see people's results. It makes me cry.
He's so sensitive.
I'm not going to cry now, but I cry thinking about my children. I mean, guys, there's something going on here, and I almost feel like the inflammatory response from the body because of all the culprit foods is actually numbing us emotionally and mentally. We're numb. I find myself so much more productive. I find myself so much more inspired and creative. I find myself, which, you know, it's unlike me, but I feel drawn to other people. Like I think by nature I'm very independent, and whereas now I feel so emotionally drawn to other people, and I'm considering their feelings, I'm considering their state, their well-being, it's just the weirdest thing for me. I'm not going to say that what we're doing is some panacea for all things, but what could potentially be pretty magical is that there's a very good chance that there's something as simple as inflammatory response from all the foods that we've been told to eat. I'm talking about even plants, even fruits, even fiber. I'm talking about things that you think are healthy, even, you know, things like coconut oil. I'm talking about things that, you know, of that nature that, you know, you've been told are so healthy, and there's a chance that they're not. There is a chance that you're not supposed to be eating them.
And that's what we have to discover for ourselves. Like that, we're not here to tell you what foods you should and should not eat. We're here to empower you and guide you in discovering for your own personal body, like figuring out what that is for you, what your diet, what your protocol looks like.
Yeah, that's just it. And you won't ever be able to hook yourself up to a machine and say, you know, here's all your markers, here's how you're operating, how you're feeling, how your motivation is, how your belief is, how your self-esteem is, and, you know, and then you eat a bunch of celery, for instance, and wait 30 minutes to an hour and run all the same tests. Like, it works with technology, it works with, but human beings, you can't do it. Think about it, you can't do it. It's probably because we're spiritual beings. Now, with that in mind, Crystal doesn't have to convince me that there's a spiritual component to human beings. There is a spiritual component to human beings. There's an energy, there's an aura, there's a vibe. I don't need some guru or some shaman to tell me that. I don't need it. It's as simple as, was I going too long? You're checking your clock. That usually means someone's ready for me to be done.
Notification, a text.
She's just on the hook here. On the hook here.
No, I like where you're going.
Bottom line is, am I in tune with my body, with my mind, with my soul, more than I used to be? A lot more than I used to be. And I know I'm not anywhere near where I could be. And this is one key component of it. One key component is understanding that the foods you put into your body, they're disrupting your chemicals, your hormones, and it's causing some problems. I know that now, of a surety. I know that when I would eat certain foods, it would cause my brain to feel foggy. Okay, when I would eat certain foods, it would pretty much numb me emotionally. How is that possible? How? Well, that's because foods have so many phytochemicals in them. Foods, combinations of foods. You're introducing science experiments into the gut. It's pretty much your gut becomes like this petri dish, and you're just throwing combinations of phytochemicals and other, artificial things and chemicals, and you're causing like a full-blown explosion in your gut. In my opinion, is that that's leading to it's got it's causing some potential problems in terms of inflammation in the body. We've seen miracles when people get off all the culprit foods. We keep saying that the magic happens. The magic happens. Our marriage was suffering as a result of me not feeling well. Our marriage was paying a price for that. Of course it was. I was so upset with how I was feeling. You're going to take that out on somebody. Was I being attentive to my wife? No. If I'm constantly worried about how I'm feeling and frustrated with my stuff, I'm never going to be attentive to her. I'm not in a space to do so. See? And am I going to be the best father? No, I'm not. Am I going to be the best provider? No, I'm not. And it all comes back to what? I'm not feeling my best. Now here's the catch. You can't put a Band-Aid on that.
Yeah.
You can't take a pill for that. You can't take a shake for that. You can't even ER shred. That's why the E stands for what? Eliminate. Because the only way you're going to create space in the body so that the body can do what it wants to do, what it needs to do, what it should be doing, is to create space and not have all the inflammatory response going off from all the culprit foods you put into the body on a daily basis. We have this saying, it says, just give it 4 days and you will come alive by day 5. What does that mean, to come alive? People wake up on around day 5. I mean, there's no guarantee, but around day 5, a lot of people, a majority of people in our experience wake up and they go, what's going on here? What is this? Who am I? What did you guys do to me?
Yeah.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah. We talk about like awakenings throughout our lives, you know, spiritual awakenings, but this is literally an awakening that happens within your mind, body, and soul.
It's been one of the key demographics that's seeing it, and this is fascinating to me, is people in their 50s and 60s. And they're going, I know what's happening, because they thought it was game over for them. The reason I know that is because I thought it was game over for me too. I thought my brain's shot. I don't know what I've done to it. It was the concussions, but I'm done. I mean, my memory keeps getting worse. My motivations just keeps degrading. I can't think. I can't listen. I can't pay attention. And then all of a sudden, it's like, what? I have a whole life ahead of me, and I'm only 40 years. Shit, I'm only 40 years old, and I feel reborn, and I have so much life ahead of me, and there's so much I can do, and it's just a matter of now. Oh my God, now I have the power to do these things because I feel the way human beings should feel. It's pretty awesome, guys. Yeah. It's pretty awesome to see the results come in and to see people when they have that moment, they like call you and they thank you. They're like, thank you. And it's not like, thank you, I lost weight. No, it's not like, thank you, I'm looking better in my clothes. It's like, no, thank you. You've literally given me my life back. That's where we're trying to help people understand. You've given me my life back. Like, we just want to feel well. Like, if you can feel well, you can do anything. If you can feel well, you can accomplish anything. You can save that marriage. You can help that child. You can make that money. But if you don't feel well, you're crippled. Woo!